Hey everyone, so my name is Polo El Jefe. One of the things I'm working on right now is actually my mortgage broker NMLS license. And if you're watching this video, I'm gonna say you're either considering taking the course, you took the class course and now you gotta take the state test, or yeah, kind of you're just in that camp where you don't even know if it's worth getting or not. I would say, to starters, it's one of those things where it's good to do if you're already in the industry. So I'm also a licensed realtor. I got my license as a real estate agent like 5 years ago. Actually more than that now, like 8 years ago. Oh my God. Sorry, I just had a moment of like, of freaking, like, just how much time has gone by. But excuse me, I'm trying to find where I stopped, because as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna go back to studying. But I have my real estate license, and when I first got my real estate license, you weren't able to do both. You weren't able to be a mortgage broker and be a realtor. In the sense that, well, you can do both, but if you were doing a deal, you could only get paid doing one or the other. You either get a commission doing real estate agent, or you can get a commission as a mortgage broker. So there really wasn't much of an incentive to have both. Now that's changed. That changed a few years ago. I believe it changed actually in like either 2022. So it's only been about 3 years since that change has happened. Well, now you could do both deals. So you could be a mortgage broker and a realtor on one deal, which is insanely good, because now the incentive for me to get my mortgage broker license, like, okay, so, you know, if you get a typical commission is like, say, 1%. So you could get, let's say, $3,000 on the commission side from a mortgage broker, from your mortgage side, and then you could get an additional, you know, $4,000 or $5,000 on as a commission for your as a realtor on your real estate side. So that means you could get one deal. Out of one deal, you'll be making like $9,000. And here in South Florida, where real estate is so expensive, you just get a few of those a month, you'll easily be making tens of thousands of dollars per month. And depending on how you structure your business, you could probably be making 6 figures per month. That's my goal. So that's why I'm getting my mortgage broker license. Now that takes that out as to the incentive to do it, why I'm doing it, and where you may be at in considering if you're thinking about doing it. Now, my thoughts on the class test. Now, I'm not gonna plug where I took my test from because I'm not sponsored, so I'm not gonna plug them. But it's a very reputable company that a lot of people use. It rhymes with mold host. I'll just leave it at that. It rhymes with mold host, where people go to get their licenses for these kind of things. That's also where I got my community association management license. I'm also a licensed CAM. I can manage condos, HOAs. I've done that for several years. So it's also a good industry where you can do that as well. But anyways, people go to this institution to get their certifications, and the certification works. And I will say that the class course wasn't too bad. So let me start with that. The class course was not bad at all. It was long because I think we had to sit down for 3 days. If 3 days straight, you're covering all like 20 chapters. So it's a pretty thick book, and boy, was it was very grueling. It was 3 like 8 hours days in a row of just reading and underlining. But it's not bad in the grand scheme of things either. So, and then I'm taking my state test. So, and the state test when I took it was not that easy. I failed it pretty badly. I didn't take it that serious. I didn't do enough review. I'm doing that now, and because you have such a large window to get your license, I'm really taking my time with going through the motion and getting my license. I'm trying not to like just cram. I don't believe in cramming. I believe if you want to pass this test, you have to take it serious, and you have to make sure you're not blowing through the material. Because I do remember one of the things that they asked a lot was disclosures, because certain actions require certain disclosures, and these are federal disclosures. So if you don't do it, you could be breaking federal law. So it's very serious. So you got to get familiar with disclosures. You got to get familiar with the different sort of acts that manage mortgage licensees. You got to get familiar with, because it's not all just about making money. It's big taking care of the public. So you got to get familiar with kind of programs lenders have. What's the role of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae and Ginnie Mae? Before I took this course, I had no idea what they were. Now I'm getting a little bit more familiar with that. And so you definitely want to make sure in your timelines, because surprisingly, there was a lot of history questions. I remember a lot of questions that's like, when did this act come into force? When did this happen? And why did this happen? And it's just like, wow, I did not expect it to be so. I don't know. Like, I did not expect all these like history questions, which in some respects is kind of like the easy portion, because when you're doing that side, you don't really have to worry about critical thinking. It's just remembering facts. So if you're good at taking in information and then spewing it, you'll do really good at this test. But for me, it was very difficult. So I'm taking my time with it, and I'm going through only a few pages a day to soak it in, chew on it, you know. And I'm trying to study in environments like this where it's nice and quiet, not a lot of distractions, away from the kids. I could just read the book, because you do want to focus when you're studying for it. The last thing, so I touched on what brings you here. I touched on what the test is like, and I guess my last thing would probably be, again, is it worth it? Yeah, I do think it's worth it. If you're in the industry already, it's worth getting. It's not easy, so take some time off, or take some time to make sure you can really focus on it. But it's definitely worth doing. I'll let you know once I get into industry. My plan is, once I get my license, to probably work for a firm where I'm an employee, so I can learn the ropes, learn how it's done. And then ultimately, I want to revolutionize both industries: the real estate industry, sales, real estate mortgage sale, real estate mortgage, and then even property management. And I want to use artificial intelligence to optimize and automate a lot of things. But that's going to be down the road. Primarily, it's just learning what to do. I had a buddy of mine. He has a mortgage company and a real estate company that is all being ran with virtual assistants. So just imagine, like, he's making money because he's doing these deals. He has these virtual assistants, and they're pretty much farming it for him, and he's just kind of supervising and making sure it's going to plan. So that's kind of the ultimate goal where I'd like to be. But because I'm so young, if I start now, oh my God, it'll be so life-changing. There'll be some bonus content. I want to say one last thing about it. So I talked about, is it worth it? I talked about why you're here. I talked about what the test is like. Lastly, I'm going to say is, I guess, my final opinions on the course and my final opinion on the exam. Okay, so now that we kind of covered why you're here, and we sort of covered what makes, like, what the test is like. Okay, so now that we covered why you're here and we covered what the test is like, I'm gonna finally cover, is it worth it? And in my opinion, it definitely is worth it for a plethora of reasons. But not only is it income, you know, you can make more income with this license on deals you're already doing, which is amazing. But you know what's interesting? I also feel like it gives you another level of credibility. When you're going to people and you're telling them, look, I'm a real estate professional, I do sales, I do mortgages, and not just do mortgages. You could be very specific. I do loan origination, or I'm a mortgage broker, so I help you find the deals. They're very different, by the way, which you'll learn in the course. But it gives you a level of credibility that, to most people, when they hear that, they're like, oh, okay, you do both? And then they want to work with you. Now, my problem is I'm not a real estate broker, I'm a real estate agent, but that's my next goal, is to become a real estate broker. And so when I do that, maybe I'll make another video about how it is, if it's like my thoughts of being a real estate broker. I can even show you guys the steps I've taken to grow my company, and like to grow my real estate company, and I think that'll be a really cool journey to show. Me growing my real estate sales, real estate mortgage, and property management all together. So for now, we're gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna get to studying because my wife is with the kids and they're probably driving her crazy soon. They're at the park, but I don't want them to be alone with her for too long. And my next video, I'll hopefully, by I make another video, I've passed. But it also depends on the comments. So if you have any questions about, you know, mortgage broker or even real estate license, I took it years ago, but if you have questions about getting your license, you have questions about license in real estate sales, license in mortgage lending, you got questions about those. If you're in the industry, you have any thoughts about it, specifically if you're in South Florida, that'll be really good to know. If you have any thoughts about that, that'll be good, you know, put it in the comments, because the more engagement, of course, the more I can make this kind of content for you. And it's also gonna be good because then it's also gonna help push the videos out and we could keep growing this community. Because I believe the industry is truly changing. And I truly believe that now with AI, it's just gonna continue to change even more. And we're in the beginning stages. A lot of these firms are antiquated, a lot of these firms are old, and there may be some major players who are out there slowly pushing these things out, but not everybody is like Elon Musk that's just gonna, like, you know, quickly change on the drop of a hat. They're gonna go through a lot of trial and errors, a lot of those things before they make some real pushes. So I think if you are considering doing it, do it ASAP. And I think this is gonna be really cool to just watch, like, to grow together. You're gonna watch the channel grow. You're gonna get to watch. You're gonna learn some about the industry, and who knows? We'll see where this goes. It's a beautiful day. I really can't wait to study. I could just ramble on and on, but I think we'll leave it at that. I'm gonna end it with just one cool shot of the lake, and that'll be all. So I'll see you guys later. Polo El Jefe or Limestone Property Management, whichever one it goes to. Maybe it'll go to both pages. And I'll see you then.